World reaches climate deal on financial aid for developing nations after contentious summit. After intense negotiations that nearly derailed the summit, world leaders have reached a landmark agreement to provide financial aid to developing countries grappling with the impacts of climate change. The breakthrough came at the close of a high-stakes global climate summit, which saw sharp divisions over funding commitments and accountability. Key highlights of the agreement: Climate Fund for Developing Nations. A new climate finance mechanism will provide financial aid to vulnerable countries for mitigation, adaptation, and recovery from climate-related disasters. Funding commitments: wealthier nations have pledged an initial pool of $100 billion annually, with provisions to scale up contributions in the coming years. Governance and accountability: a joint committee will oversee fund allocation to ensure transparency and effectiveness, addressing concerns from donor nations. Contentious negotiations: the summit saw heated debates. Developing countries' demands: vulnerable nations argued for stronger financial support to cope with damages caused by rising sea levels, extreme weather, and loss of biodiversity. Wealthy nations' concerns: donor countries sought assurances that funds would be used responsibly and wanted emerging economies to contribute to the pool. Near collapse: talks nearly broke down when disagreements over long-term funding escalated, prompting emergency interventions from key negotiators. Global reactions: United Nations. The UN Secretary-General hailed the agreement as a historic step but warned that implementation must match ambition. Activists, environmental groups welcomed the deal but criticized its reliance on voluntary pledges, urging binding commitments to address the climate crisis urgently. Developing nations: leaders from the global south praised the agreement as a victory that stressed the need for swift action to deliver funds. The road ahead: while the agreement marks significant progress, challenges remain. Implementation: ensuring timely disbursement of funds and measurable impacts will require robust oversight mechanisms. Global cooperation: sustaining financial commitments amid economic uncertainty and geopolitical tensions will test international resolve. This deal underscores the urgent need for global solidarity in combating climate change. With vulnerable nations at the forefront of the crisis, the agreement is a crucial step toward a more equitable and resilient future. However, the true test will lie in delivering on promises and turning commitments into actionable results.